What's going on, you guys? So, I wanted to talk to you about week 6 and week 7 and just have just a quick chat. Not really a quick chat, to be honest, but I want to talk about what week 6 will look like for you, and really kind of go through what I believe is something that gets kind of understated for week 6. Week 7 is not really going to be that much, to be honest with you. And part of the reason for that is something I'll kind of get into a little bit later. So, week 6 is primarily going to be focused on your discussion posts because you really don't have anything that you're going to do for what will be module 6. But there is something that I think that you should at least consider when you're doing your discussion posts. So for week 6, you're going to be talking about like responsibilities of you as a citizen and why you should be historically informed. And so I talked about this a great deal in my video, but what I didn't really go into is kind of some of the responses that I got back from some of the students that or peers of mine that responded to my post. They were kind of letting me know that it was the way that they understood it was not the way that I responded. So for me, I tied my specific responsibility as a citizen to be historically informed. I tied that directly to me being specifically somebody who uh, was tying it to their paper. And my paper, of course, as you guys know, is about Chernobyl. So I was a little shocked. Honestly, I was very shocked, not a little shocked. I was very shocked to find out specifically what they were asking for. So I was just like, you know what? No worries. Let me go back and try to do my post again. So I did the post on some random thing that was going on in my community. Like we have these birds in my community in Elgin here, and um, they're not native to the area, but they're causing a problem because they reproduce so quickly. And so I was kind of talking about that. So for 6, if for some reason you were considering maybe reading the post exactly as it's written and trying to answer it, I say go with your gut instinct. So if you want to do like I did, tie it to your paper, I think you should. And I don't think that you should back off because others have a problem with what you write. I had this conversation with one of my coworkers as well, because I was speaking to them about like, hey, read through this post, like what it says, and tell me what you think it says. And they gave me feedback of what they thought as well, because they thought just like the other students that it says tie it to your community, tie it to your community event. I didn't see it that way. So I was speaking about that, and I think that you should really read through it and do your own perspective. Week 7. So week 7 for me, it was all about the paper. So this is where you tie everything that you've been working on for the last 6 weeks. You tie it all up. So everything you've done, modules 1 through 6, you're going to use in the paper. Now, you do have 2 options in how you do your paper. So if you decide in your paper that you want your paper to be more designed along the facets of like a traditional paper, I'm talking like double spaced with your, like the regular essay forms. If that's what you want it to be like, you have the option of writing it that way. Or you have the option of going through and doing it in more of a facet of, I think, more like template verse. So what I did was as I was going through and just really trying to piece all of my stuff together, what I did is I took and I opened up all of the papers that I had written um, from week 1 to week 5, and I put them all together and on the screen so that I could kind of pull the content from that. Because most of the questions that he is asking you, he's either asked you in a discussion post or they've been asked in something that you actually had to submit a paper on. And I know that that's normal. Nothing that I'm saying there would come as a surprise to you if you're at a certain point in your career, as far as a student is concerned. But this class right here, though a level 100 class, it is still something I think that I just think that it was just a little bit difficult for me if I had not kept all of those papers. So, if you don't know, what I do is I will sit down and I write all of my papers in Google Docs. So, the reason why I do that is so that I can go back, look at the papers, I can search through them really quickly. So, it was really easy for me to just open up 5 tabs in Chrome and have the papers there. The paper probably took me, I would say, like an hour and a half to write. It was not they as maybe it was me and the drama of it all. I was just trying to think like, oh, this is going to be one legendary paper. It's like 250 points. I need to make sure that it's spot on. Well, I did the paper in an hour and a half and I got an A on the paper. I got a few things that he wanted me to expand more on. But what I do is I go through and I use this app called Elephas. And this is not anything sponsored by them at all. But the reason why I like using them is because of the way that they take the content when you write it. And you have this way of being able to go through and smooth out your content. And it does a really good job of just taking things and like if you can have it right, for example, you could have it right in a friendly tone or professional tone. But if you've used any type of AI rewriting software, then you know that that's very common. But one thing that this software does is it'll allow you to highlight all of the content and then you write it in this, I think it's called Zinser, Zinser mode. And that is just really cool because it takes away a lot of the fluff and it gives you very simple sentences. And one of the things that I learned in this class is just keep it simple when you get ready to write your responses. They don't need to be so heavy and fluffy. So that is 7. I'm going to give you some intake into 8, even though I'm going to do a recap and 8 like I normally would do. Is overall for this class, the things that I think that have been so important for me is being consistent with sticking with my times, even though the level of the work now where I'm working has increased and the responsibilities that I have, but being able to have a formula for how I do my studying, how I do my reports, how I do all of those things, that has remained consistent. And I think that that has been and made me quite successful in what I do as far as a student. So that is really it for weeks 6 and week 7. So you don't need to sweat those 2 weeks. And what I've decided to do and how I'm going to go forward with this is recording my kind of raw thoughts that are not kind of scripted and all of that for the podcast, because I think the podcast should really speak to the reality of me as a student, not just kind of giving you the instructions. Is really where I get an opportunity to share with you my thoughts that are not so scripted and kind of tailored for the YouTube audience. This is for the people who really want to listen to it, maybe not sit down and look at anything. They can put this in their pocket and be okay. And learn about a particular class from somebody who's actually in it. That's what I made this podcast for. That's what I made my YouTube channel about, was specifically because I did not see anybody who was documenting their process as they went through the actual coursework. Most students were just kind of giving their whole entire, at the end, they were just saying, this is my thoughts of SNHU online for whatever degree path. But what I would have liked to have seen or heard or watched was what it was like for them to go to school. I think that I would have been a lot more um, bought into them graduating and congratulating them if I had seen like, hey, I've been with you since, you went to your first class. And as you struggled, as you failed and stuff, I was able to see all of that and the body of work is there. So that's what this is about. I appreciate you listening to me and I will talk to you guys next week and we'll talk about week 8 and we'll kind of do the wrap up for HIS 100. This is for perspectives in history, and we start our new class at the beginning of May. So we got about a week off, and then we start at the beginning of May. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.